First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your First Alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
We have continuing coverage. The U.S.-Israeli conflict with Iran expanded today.
And the death toll is rising in Operation Epic Fury.
Thanks for joining us. First at 4, I'm Nicole Versansky.
And I'm Brian Duffy. U.S.-Israeli joint strikes on Iran killed its supreme leader, a growing list of senior officials, and according to state media in Iran, more than 150 girls at an elementary school that has not been confirmed by United States officials.
Iran is retaliating with strikes against its neighbors as its top official says Tehran, quote, will not negotiate with the United States.
Maribel Gonzalez brings us the latest on the conflict as the president makes his first remarks on the war with Iran.
Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime.
In his first remarks since strikes in Iran started Saturday, President Donald Trump said Iranian leaders ignored U.S. warnings not to rebuild its nuclear program.
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat.
The president also told CNN Monday that the U.S. military is, quote, knocking the crap out of Iran, but the big wave is yet to come. At least 4 American service members have already been killed.
In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the U.S. strikes on Iran are not meant to be a regime change, but called on Iranians to, quote, to take advantage of the opportunity while explaining the president's mission.
Destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes.
The war is sending shockwaves across the globe, disrupting air travel and hiking gas prices in the U.S. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called on lawmakers to pass a war powers resolution in a vote expected later this week.
The American people want us to focus on making their life better, making their life more affordable, not getting involved in another endless war in the Middle East that is going to end in failure.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
19 News with continuing coverage on the U.S. and Israeli military operation Epic Fury ahead. Demonstrators take to the streets both in opposition and in support for the attacks on Iran.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Now to your First Alert on some rain and warmer temperatures in the coming days.
I like the warmer temperatures part of that. 19 First Alert meteorologist John Loftman is here to break it down for us, John.
Yeah, all in favor of warmer temperatures?
Yeah,
okay.
I
thought so. Yeah, I haven't heard anybody complain about that. Let's take a look at what I and anyone who's seen this camera shot from our First Alert camera network has seen this crook in the river in the Cuyahoga, and Jason tells me it's got a name. It's Collision Bend, and we've seen the freighters try to maneuver through there. Blue skies overhead. We are on our way into big changes. The next big thing tonight, clouds increase, and then we get rain after midnight. Tomorrow, rain and possibly just a little bit of freezing rain in the morning. It'll be a short passing affair. I don't think it's going to do any damage. Just needs to be mentioned. We may see some of that show up in the morning hours. Wednesday through Sunday, unseasonably mild temperatures, rounds of on and off rain right through the period, and we could and expect to see some spring-like thunders thrown in there as well. Right now, if you're along the lakeshore, you know that it is cool. 30 degrees with a northeast wind that's pretty stiff at 16. It's chilly there. Inland, 5 miles inland at Hopkins, you're at 34. Winds are much lighter. The rest of the region is looking at temperatures as warm as the 39 at Worcester. Boy, you get away from the lake. Sandusky is at freezing, and you're going to be dealing with much milder temperatures. But up ahead, we'll talk about 50s and 60s, even though there's rain. Lots of warm temperatures in the 7-day. It's coming right up.
Kind of a big day, right, for the stadium that is being built in Brook Park.
Today, crews started the massive construction project that will turn into the new Browns Stadium. Brittany Weir has the story first at 4.
Yes, digging has officially begun here at the site for the Browns' new Dome Stadium in Brook Park. Crews are currently working on digging a massive hole for the building that will sit 80 feet below the surface.
A big day here for at New Huntington Bank Field and Brook Park, and obviously for the city of Cleveland and for all of Northeast Ohio as we're digging the hole.
Monday marked a major milestone for the new Huntington Bank Field. J.W. Johnson, the Browns' managing partner, says crews started mass excavation at the Brook Park site, moving nearly 2 million cubic yards of dirt to lay the foundation for the Browns' future home.
Today's a big day. I mean, as you can see, the earth is moving. It's officially happening, and I'm thinking about talking to our construction team here in about 45 days. We'll really see how much this will develop.
The enclosed 67,500-seat stadium is being designed as a, quote, super theater, hoping to host Browns games, NCAA Final Fours, international soccer, and concerts for crowds of up to 75,000.
Listen, the level of commitment we're putting into this building just says everything about what we believe in here about Northeast Ohio. And like I said, the amount of jobs, the amount of revenue, the amount of big events that we're going to bring here and really create a work, live, play environment that this community needs.
The Haslam say the project will also create thousands of construction jobs, with about 75% of the total hours going to local workers.
This is a revenue generating project that we're excited about, and I think the amount of people that are going to be working on the project, I think we'll have close to 5,000 plus construction jobs. We'll have 5,000 plus potentially full-time jobs around here.
The official groundbreaking is set for April 30th. In Brook Park, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
And 19 News has been chronicling every twist and turn of the Stadium Showdown. New episodes drop every Friday at 6:30, and you can watch previous episodes on the free 19 News Plus app.
Wild call for Akron fire crews. Someone stole their ambulance on Britton Road while crews were inside with a patient. A woman hopped into the med unit, took off. Crews immediately called police, and they called for another ambulance to take the patient to the hospital. That person is going to be okay. Police found the stolen ambulance a couple blocks away with the suspect inside. She's facing grand theft charges.
Chaotic new video first at 4 out of Akron. Police say a man drove his semi right at officers. They opened fire. An officer was hurt. The suspect was arrested. Our Catherine Huntley joining us live now with the latest developments and really this dramatic video, Catherine.
Yeah, it certainly is dramatic, Nicole. Now, this all started with a domestic situation at this IHOP here. Police are telling me that a man drove all the way from Tennessee to start an altercation with a woman who works at this IHOP. Now, a patron saw this all going down, so he called 911 feeling afraid. Once police came, the man saw police, jumped in, get this, his semi-cab and drove to the nearby Walmart. Now, Springfield police say that it was 34-year-old Jeffrey Latson. He's been charged with 3 felonies with more charges to come. Look at this, a white semi-cab driving through a Walmart parking lot. An officer hanging onto the window when all of a sudden he's thrown off and breaks his leg. The semi keeps going.
It's disturbing that his thought was just to leave the area. After pushing our officer out of the vehicle, clearly the officer's injured, that he had no regard for the officer's safety, and that was our concern about being on the highway.
Springfield Police Chief Jack Simone furious about the lack of care for his officer and anyone else on the roads. Police were on scene so quickly because a concerned patron saw the domestic dispute happening in the nearby IHOP and called.
If he doesn't make that phone call, things would have, I'm confident, would have escalated inside the restaurant.
After exiting the IHOP, the man drove his semi behind the nearby Walmart where officers made contact and tried to get him out of the vehicle. He then took off. One officer was able to jump off, but police say the suspect pushed the other officer off, who broke his leg. Springfield police pursued the semi-cab onto I-77. Once in Akron's jurisdiction, Springfield police ended the pursuit. But it doesn't end here. At some point, the driver oddly hitched a trailer to his cab. Following that, Akron police say officers tracked him down in a parking lot, but he fled again. He was reportedly driving recklessly and struck several cars before officers fired at his truck.
The driver of the semi-truck went to exit the parking lot, struck multiple cruisers en route, headed westbound on East Market Street. They struck a number of civilian vehicles as well before striking another police cruiser. Our officers encountered him and fired multiple shots, striking him at least one time.
Now, Akron police tell me they will not be releasing any body camera footage until at least this weekend. They did not have any additional comment today. Now, the good news is it sounds like the officers who were hurt will be okay. The other officers had minor injuries. Now, we are still trying to find out the suspect's condition, if he was armed inside that cab, and if that semi-truck was stolen. As soon as we get those answers, we'll be sure to share them with you. For now, in Akron, Catherine Huntley, 19 News.
A 19 missing alert from Stark County. The sheriff is asking for help to find this woman. This is Angelina Siebold. She's 32 years old. She was last seen driving down Route 62 near the sheriff's office. She was in a 2012 GMC Yukon. They say she was wearing a gray hoodie, black pants, gray shoes, and a blue baseball hat with a yellow brim. So if you've seen her or have any information on her whereabouts, call the Stark County Sheriff's Office.
This is a 19 First Alert breaking traffic alert.
I have to first alert you to 90 West being shut down at the 71 split right out of downtown Cleveland, as you can see here, with 2 fire trucks and what looks like it used to be a semi that is now blocking that entire ramp that continues from 90 westbound over to the west side here. So if you have loved ones who would typically continue on 90 westbound after getting around downtown, they're going to need a detour because, again, as you can see here, it is completely shut down. Crews have just arrived on scene a couple of minutes ago, so this is going to be taking a while for this incident, whatever happened here, to be cleared away, as I already see debris scattering the roads. But this is also causing backups for drivers that are forced to continue on 71 southbound, as they were planning to continue 90 west, but clearly that's not an option right now. So speeds are just around 20 miles per hour in this area. You can see the bunch of backup already accumulating on the south side of downtown where 90 passes 77. And of course, in our usual traffic trouble spot, 90 in Chester, we already have slowdowns leading up to Dead Man's Curve, but I do anticipate this to be pretty backed up in a few minutes. So I'll keep my eye on this and let you know the updates, my First Alert traffic.
Changes to SNAP benefit work requirements have taken us into the grace period right before thousands could soon be at risk of losing access to their food stamps.
Dan DeRosa has been following this story for us. He joins us now with the latest developments.
We've been doing stories on this for a few months now. This was a part of the one big, beautiful bill that was passed back on July 4th and signed. But we're starting to get into this period where the changes are taking effect, and it really impacts work requirements. Now, SNAP benefits, to get the food stamps, there has to be some hours met already. But the one big, beautiful bill increased a lot of those hours. I've been working with Cuyahoga County and their Job and Family Services Department. They identified 21,000 people where their increase in hours worked per week will impact them. Most of them, you're going to see the overwhelming majority of them are already compliant. They're already working 30 plus hours a week. It's 5,100 that aren't, and that's where the changes come. Let's talk about the people who this is impacting. The work requirements went from 20 hours to 30 hours for any able-bodied person age 55 to 64. They now have to report 30 hours of work a week. Parents that have children that are 14 years of age and up, they're identifying that those children are old enough to maybe babysit themselves or be on their own. They have to now have work requirements for 30 hours a week. They are removing exemptions for the homeless, the vets, and former foster care children, meaning they have to work 30 hours a week. But as discussed with the Cuyahoga County officials, there are always exemptions.
The standard exemption, the most common exemption, is that they're physically or mentally unable to work. We just need a medical professional to say that they're unable to work due to physical or mental impairment, and that's something that we record in the system, and they're no longer work required. They're exempt from those requirements.
Now, for that 5,100 that we talked about that haven't met these requirements yet, the government gives you a 3-month grace period, and we have finally hit that, where your benefits aren't going to be touched for March, April, or May. But come June, if you haven't gotten up to those new requirements, you will not get your benefits. So if you are in that area, you may get your March food stamps, your April and your May. If you haven't met those 30 hours of work, you better get a hold of the county to make sure you're compliant.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Well, we've been remarking on these beautiful blue skies all day long. Going to be very, very short-lived. Hope you got out to enjoy it. Your vitamin D intake is going to go down appreciably over the next several days. We're talking temperatures right now in the 30s. The lone exception, Akron, 41 along the lakeshore. Temperatures are closer to 30, 32 degrees at Sandusky across the region. Here is what we can expect as we make our way through the next couple of days. Wee hours of the morning tomorrow. We're talking rain, could be a little bit of freezing rain thrown in there at 3 in the morning and even into the rush hour. Brief, short-lived. Notice these temperatures are above freezing. Big warm up, not going to last long, not going to bring much of an impact, but we're keeping an eye on it. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, kids are coming home from school. Rain around then. 6 o'clock hour, southern tier, we're looking at rain now. Temperatures have climbed now to as warm as 50 degrees at Dover, New Philly. Then we get into the morning hours on Wednesday. 7 o'clock in the morning, pretty mild stuff. Mid and upper 30s of 42 at Dover, New Philly. And then afternoon temperatures climbing to flirting with 50 and exceeding 50 in a couple of spots. But then as we make our way through the night, we're talking, rather through the afternoon hours, we're talking about rain on Thursday pretty much all day long. So we'll put it together this way with the rain coming in Wednesday, Thursday, and beginning Tuesday, even in the wee hours of the morning. On and off showers, possible afternoon thunder on Wednesday. More showers Thursday, a break on Friday, set the clocks ahead an hour on Saturday. Daylight saving time stops, but look at these warm temperatures as we head into next week.
Now to your top 4 at 4. The war in the Middle East spiraled further today. Israel and the United States pounded Iran. President Trump said the campaign would likely take several weeks. Tehran and its allies hit back against Israel. The intensity of the attacks and the killing of Iran's supreme leader and the lack of any apparent exit plan indicate the conflict may not end anytime soon.
Well, it was a wild chase and shooting in Summit County. New video here from Springfield Township Police. Jeffrey Latson is charged in the case. Police say he drove all the way from Tennessee to have an altercation with an IHOP employee. Officers say he used his semi as a weapon, ramming it into police cruisers' other cars as officers tried to stop him. Finally, they felt like they had to shoot him. Suspect taken to a hospital, expected to survive. Injured officers are expected to be okay.
Well, a lot of police searching in Slavic Village today. Much of the activity is taking place at the Republic A1 Auto Parts and Etna Towing on East 65th Street. So this is 19 News drone video. Shows crews digging actually with a backhoe at the back of this lot. Now, besides Cleveland Police, U.S. Marshals, and FBI, they were all on the scene here. This is kind of a closer look so you can see some of those construction machines that backhoe there towards the back of the lot. Now, investigators have since left. We still don't know if they found anything or what they were looking for.
Several construction projects announced today. ODOT says some of the ramps and lanes around 90 in the Innerbelt Bridge will be under construction. During the summer, they have to replace the concrete there. How about this? The project is supposed to last for the next 6 years. Oof. So there you go. For constant updates on ODOT's projects, go to cleveland19.com for that link. U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran are rattling global energy markets.
Oil prices rose this morning. Natural gas futures are spiking. This as protesters take to the streets. Jared Hill reports.
At Stop the War rallies across the country, protesters are again objecting to U.S. military action in Iran.
It's possible to be against the regime and against this war and to question whether we are going to be able to bring the change most of us would hope for.
As many Iranians living in the U.S. celebrated news of the Supreme Leader's death, some also expressed trepidation.
I'm happy, but also worried because we're not certain of what's coming.
CBS News contributor Masih Alinejad, who survived 3 assassination plots by the Iranian regime, had a message for protesters.
If you're really anti-war, help us to end the root cause of the war, the Islamic Republic.
Ripple effects from continued strikes on Iran have rocked financial markets. Oil prices were up more than 8% Monday, and natural gas futures spiked 42% as many watched the Strait of Hormuz. At least 20% of the world's oil supply travels through that waterway off the Iranian coast.
Right now, we do see actual disruptions to oil flows. Ships are not getting insurance to transit the Strait of Hormuz. We've had a refinery hit in Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, the world's largest natural gas exporter, has halted flows as well.
Industry experts say higher crude oil prices could trickle down and impact the price of gas for drivers across the U.S. within a couple of weeks.
I am concerned about that because whatever decisions that are made in this country impact the American people.
With oil prices higher, business analysts say it's likely the Federal Reserve will not move on interest rates when it meets this month. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright told CBS News prior to the strikes on Iran that incoming oil from Venezuela would help ease price spikes.
More than 100 people are without a home after a fire ripped through a Parma apartment complex this weekend.
So today the community is rallying. A donation drive is underway as we speak to help families who lost everything. First at 4, Isabella Roberts has the story and how you can help.
Well, take a look behind me. These are donations for the families who were displaced by the Woodbury Commons apartment complex fire. It's clothing, toiletries, kitchen supplies, and this is just one of the 3 rooms filled with donations from the community who has stepped up over the weekend to help. Brittany Lewis is a teacher at a nearby school. She used her lunch break to drop off supplies.
With my school right down the road, I immediately wanted to take action, knowing that quite possibly some of my current students or former students or future students may have been impacted.
She says the turnout left her speechless.
It was overwhelming in the most amazing way. There's barely any room to walk, so it's amazing, yeah.
The building is a total loss, leaving 132 people without a home. I spoke to some of those families who lost everything. They didn't want to go on camera, but tell me they can't believe how many people showed up. Parma Fire Chief Michael Lasky says as of Saturday, everyone affected has found temporary shelter with help from property owners and the Red Cross.
Our number one priority was getting them housing, and the property owners here, they got them housing, whether it was here and these vacants, if they had any here, and they had other properties as well.
The complex will continue accepting donations throughout the week. In Parma, Isabella Roberts, 19 News.
A Cuyahoga County Sheriff's deputy is recovering after a crash in downtown Cleveland. You can see the damage to his patrol vehicle. This happened just before midnight on Carnegie and Ontario. Police say a driver ran a red light, slammed into the deputy's marked patrol car. The deputy was not seriously hurt. However, 2 people in the other car, a 23-year-old and a 20-year-old, were seriously hurt. They were taken to the hospital. The driver was ticketed.
A 19 crime alert as the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force looks for this man, Deovion Harris. He's wanted by U.S. Marshals and Canton Police for assault and carrying a gun illegally. 23-year-old is familiar with the Canton and Cleveland areas. If you've seen him, know where he is, please call 1-866-4-WANTED. Tipsters can remain anonymous. There is reward money available.